discuss just how much we like beer. Do you like beer? Because we like beer. And we discover the answer to the age-old question, does Armon dream of electric sheep? The answer may surprise you. All that and more on this week's episode of... Wait, we're in Baltimore. Why are we in Baltimore? Robot lady, sound the alarm!
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
Welcome, one and all, to another week of Another Wasted Hour. You're joining us live right now in your head. No, it's not live. We recorded ahead of time. But for the first time ever, Another Wasted Hour is coming from a totally different state. We usually record our humble little podcast in Reston, Virginia, but this week we've taken all of our equipment and run it all up to Baltimore, and it's all being taken care of by Figmental Studios up in Baltimore and being taken care of by Adam. So, hello, Adam.
It was really difficult to find XLR cables long enough to go from Reston to Baltimore, let me tell you.
I know, but here's the good news. Although the location is completely different, you can expect to have the same experience where the next hour of your life will be replaced with two ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions they have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. Our goal here at Another Wasted Hour is still to convince you that where we hail from, just outside of Washington, D.C., because that's also where Baltimore is, it's not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture. As impossible as that may seem. So listeners, now that you know why you're here, like the way I overcook all of my s'mores, we have Armon from Ashes of Mankind.
Woo!
Hi.
Yeah, so Armon, I don't know if you've listened to the podcast recently, but we missed a week. Last week we didn't do a show. It's the first time in the history of the show that we missed a show. And it was because
someone kidnapped you and took you out to the woods.
Right. I was camping, which is super weird. Camping is a very strange thing that us people do, because we have like people out there who actually are homeless and don't have homes. And then we
just like to pretend for a weekend at a time in the summer.
Like we went out into a field and we didn't have a house for a weekend. It was so quaint. Right. And like, it's so bougie of us. And it's a great microcosm for like what we do when it comes to nature in general, because we literally go out into a field and then we're like, we should put something around us that keeps nature away. A tent. That would be good. Keep all the nature
far away.
Oh, is there a spider? I'm going to kill that spider for being where it should be.
No, just burn the whole field down. It's done.
We get offended by these things. We put on long pants so that things don't bite us. And it's like, we're where they are. Like, we have literally gone to the few places we haven't ruined, and then we're like, stay away, I'm gonna put bug spray on and do all these things so that you don't bother me in your home.
How dare the wilderness be out in the wilderness?
Exactly.
Ugh. I was expecting murder when my family went to Brazil a few years back.
Ooh.
And my mother is a very, I'll call her personality is like a high-class Southern lady.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, I know. Her idea of camping is a 3-star hotel instead of a 5-star hotel. And then my dad convinced her to go out to this part of the Amazon where there's like a camping spot with no running water, no electricity, no nothing. And I actually got her to record a voice message on his phone saying that she would not get upset and not try to kill him while she was stuck in this cabin for 3 days out in the Amazon.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't imagine. So we went camping. We went to a festival. It's called a Burn, which is basically like Burning Man. I don't know if you've heard of that, like out in Nevada. Now for Burning Man, it's like 72,000 people all go to like a dry lake bed in the desert and do art stuff and get drunk and do drugs and do whatever it is that you do at a Burning Man event. I determined a while back that is not my scene. And so I found out that there is a burn that's like 3 hours from here in a field in West Virginia with 800 people. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. That sounds good.
And then you've got Shadow Woods here.
Right.
Well, the last 4 years, at least, Shadow Woods. Mary said she's not going to do it next year.
No,
It's just too
no.
much. I know.
I'd never get to go. I was hoping I'd be able to go next time.
I went the first 2 years. I was not able to go years 3 and 4, but it's a blast. I mean, you're camping. There is a little building there with like some crude showers and some bathrooms and stuff. And there's a separate little building that has some electricity, and they have like a little concert hall in there, as well as a large stage outside, and then another smaller stage out in the woods. It's really wonderful. It's one of the best times I've ever had.
Where is that located?
That is in where was it? Camp Hidden Valley.
Hidden Valley. Okay.
Yes, it's full of salad dressing. No, it's about 30
It's a ranch
miles or so. Yeah, it's this ranch called Hidden Valley. It's about 30 miles north of Baltimore or so.
Okay, still in Maryland or?
Yeah, it's still
okay.
in Maryland. Yeah, the northern bit of Maryland. Not a bad drive. Nice little scenic route.
It sounds like more music is maybe programmed for that, though. Is it more of a music festival that you camp at? Or?
Oh, yeah. It's like 3 days of just a solid metal concert.
Nice.
Constantly rotating stages. So a band finishes at the main stage.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, you have just enough time to go to the woodland stage or the whatever that building was called, the pavilion or whatever.
The ranch
the
stage.
next band, the ranch stage. I was really kind of upset there was no blue cheese stage.
Yeah,
but,
that would have been
know,
delicious. That's where they
beggars
send,
can't be choosers.
That's where they send all the bands that stink. So this
every
is
5 minutes there's like a new band. Well, 5 minutes after a band ends, there's another band starting. So from noon until practically midnight,
wow.
Friday and Saturday, it was just solid, amazing bands. And then Thursday, there was starting in, I believe, year 2, there was like some acoustic kind of acts that started like kicking it off.
Nice. Yeah. See, I
yeah.
couldn't even name that many metal bands to do like an entire weekend of 12 hours solid. I can name like 8. And so this is good because we have you guys are a metal band and coming in from Baltimore. And so we're getting a little more diversity in the music that we have on the show.
Murder Capital.
Yeah. It's a murder capital up in Baltimore. So we're excited not only that you're on the show, but that Adam is still alive.
Despite all the terrible drivers.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Yeah. Ooh.
So the burns are different because they're not really music related. It's like all kinds of crazy art. So somebody built like a peacock, a huge peacock, and like the feathers like would collapse in and out. And they were actually
cool.
Like LED panels. And so they could play music and this peacock would like just make a whole light show. And just all kinds of cool things like that. Lots of really zany people with like cool ideas who are incredibly creative and for a weekend are just let loose on a field and allowed to do kind of whatever they want to do. There was one camp that was really interesting. It had these like sheep they had LEDs under their wool, and they
put LEDs in the sheep.
Yeah, I mean they weren't real sheep. They were they were made. They were character type of sheep.
Bah!
Yeah. Ow!
What the fuck's up with this sheep, man? Yeah, what was in that shit I just smoked? Come on, man. What that? These sheep are glowing, man. I'm going crazy.
Well, it was super interesting. So these sheep, they underneath the wool were LEDs, so it made this really cool pattern and stuff.
Yeah.
But they would try to seduce you. So like it would tell that there were people walking by, and the sheep would have a human voice, and it would be like, "Hey, would you come and just pet me?"
Okay, that's it. I'm done. I quit America.
And you're like, what? And like, it's just like, I'm just really lonely and I'd love some attention.
This is why we need to bring back bullying.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
And then, so if you go and like pet it, it starts like reacting to that. And it's like, oh, that's really nice. Thank you. That feels so good. And if you stop, it's like, wait, why are you stopping? Right. And so it makes you feel
guilty. Is this
guilty.
the same guy that made that robot that would beg not to be turned off we covered a few weeks back?
Wow.
But they were really cool, and they were on wheels, which is the best part because then you could wheel the sheep to other people's camps in the middle of the night, and it would start begging them for attention, and they'd be like, shut up! God damn it,
great.
sheep!
No, just pet me.
Yeah.
Just pet me. You know you want to get in that wall. Oh, it's so soft. Just pet it.
Yeah.
It's like the camping version of buying your friend's like 2-year-old the most loud, annoying toy you can find.
Yeah.
Bah, baby.
Oh,
bah, I've been a bad boy.
Dude. Right.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh my, I'm almost there. I'm almost. No, not yet. Keep going.
Damn it, the LEDs changed color. You
They
know
had
I can't enjoy myself to green.
They had a lot of really good like little puns in it. There was like one of them was a female sheep, and it would be like, what would you do if you were a you like me?
Oh my God.
But apparently,
this is why drugs are magical.
Yeah.
yeah, apparently they were featured though at the Hirshhorn. So down in Washington
boy.
D.C., the art gallery there.
Huh.
Was it a slow art week or something?
I thought it was pretty interesting. So it's like digital sheep or something like that. But anyhow, so there you go. That is why those people who are listening, we did not have a show last week. We moved things up to Baltimore for this week, and
Because he was busy fucking around with a glowing sheep.
yeah, and I was busy petting a sheep all week, so couldn't do a show for you people. I'm sorry. It happens.
This is what our country's coming to.
It is. Hopefully that we can all just ignore all of the rampant politics and
Oh boy.
hatred that's going on, and we just pet sheep and forget about it.
I mean, petting oddly sexualized digital lit sheep might actually be less offensive than kind of half of this country right now.
That's
So,
true. And
that's valid.
here's
Less
the good
shitty.
news. If you do go up and pet a digital sheep, don't worry about not making it into the Supreme Court. That's what we've learned. You still have a future. It's no problem at all.
I like beer.
Do you?
I really like beer. Do you like beer?
Do you like
you?
beer?
Do you have a drinking problem? Do you?
Do you have a drinking problem? That's not
Yeah,
really
let me
what I
just ask
asked.
a senator that when I'm trying to get a job.
Right.
Oh, what a fucking tool.
I think that's awesome. I'm gonna do that if I ever get pulled
Oh.
over. Have you been drinking, sir? Have you
Have
been
you?
drinking, sir?
I mean, yeah, I like beer, but you know.
I like beer. Do you like beer? There's nothing wrong with beer. Why are you asking me so many questions?
I know I'm a Yale frat boy, and like my entire yearbook is full of nothing but like sexual jokes and comments about me being blackout drunk. But look, I never got really drunk.
Not really.
I never even
drunk.
had premarital sex. Honest.
Sir, do you know why I pulled you over? I worked my ass off to get in this car and drive this far because of how drunk I am right now.
You pulling me over is a farce. It is an embarrassment to this entire country, and it is a conspiracy run by the Democrats and Hillary Clinton.
Sir, are you driving
And I
drunk?
like beer.
Are you driving drunk right now? No. Look, I brought a calendar, and nowhere on this calendar does it say I'm driving drunk.
I remember every time I drove drunk, I specifically wrote it in the
Yeah.
calendar. Look, today I did not write that.
Yeah. I think
Sir,
case closed.
Sir, you're actually just holding a picture of a fake sheep with LED lighting. Look, I really like beer.
And sheep. All right. Well, so once
Oh,
again,
boy.
we have Armon from Ashes of Mankind. We're going to get into the
Yes.
show here. You guys have a really big show coming up Saturday, October 28th at the Depot in Baltimore, Maryland. If people want to find out more about that show, go up to facebook.com/Ashes of Mankind. You also have a new
Yes.
album coming out later, I assume later this year or early next year.
Yeah, we're hoping to finish the recording by the end of the year. Jobs are, getting busy and everything.
Sure.
But we're working. We're exactly 3/4 of the way through writing, and we're getting ready to start gearing up and start like the tracking process real
Awesome.
soon. So
Well,
it's going to be really amazing.
We'll definitely talk about more about that later in the show because that sounds
All right.
fascinating.
It is.
And we also have a track from you guys from your first album, the title track, A Scene in Hell. If people want to listen to that track in its entirety, fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this show and you can go and listen to that and come back and join us. If not, we'll play a little snippet of that a little later in the show. In the meantime, we're going to take you out of the band. We're going to take you out of the studio and put you in a brand new job.
Car.
No, not car. No. We're going to make you the editor-in-chief of your own publication. You're going to be a mogul of media. And we're going to, as your faithful reporters, pitch you some stories we found on the internet that we thought were really interesting. You're going to let us know whether or not they make it into your publication or whether or not they are actually news. This is what we like to call the weather report. So, Adam, you want to get us started off because it makes you so happy when you do?
I'm ready.
Alrighty. So, I guess this is my life now that every week I have to bring a story about this. Mayor, others push back on proposed robot brothel in Houston. Yes, the saga of robot prostitutes is continuing a little bit further on this show.
What was the pushback for?
Well, you might not know this, Armon, but the South is very conservative.
Oh, I grew up there. Yeah.
So
I grew up in the deep South.
So actually, believe it or not, listeners, this is the same company that we talked about, about a month ago now, that was set up the Toronto robot sex doll brothel. And that same company is now trying to expand to Houston. But Mayor Sylvester Turner and others are saying we need to be very mindful of what comes into our city and what our children and others may be exposed to.
I see what
we
they
want to
did
be very
there.
sensitive to that. Yeah.
So is he pushing back on the notion of there being a brothel, or is he like, no, we need humans, not robots?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does not clarify.
You have to fuck a blender. Welcome to Toronto.
But what kind of stuck out to me is like he talked about what our children will be exposed to. Person brothel, robot brothel, kids are still not allowed in those.
That's true. But they can eat poutine, and that sounds like a brothel.
It kind of does.
I got a little poutine in me today, and it was good.
Some guy with 3 hairs on his head and like a greasy ripped wife beater shirt, and he's like rubbing his belly button. I want the poutine. You know,
It's so
Actually,
good.
Last time I was in Canada, I ate poutine. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say slightly overrated, a little too salty, but it was pretty good.
I guess the salt helps with the cold. I don't know how it works, but it's the rage up there. That's all I know.
It's all about the salt, eh?
Right. Exactly. It draws in the deer and elk so that you can shoot them for food for the winter.
Oh yeah, good call.
Mhm.
So if I have to choose whether or not that's going to be news, I would say, yeah, let's make that news. Well, sometimes we need let's make it like second page news. We don't want to
Expose the children to it right away.
Yeah, and we don't want to cover up things that actually matter, but that deserves to be. I'm going to say the bottom of the second page in the
That's
newspaper.
fair.
You know.
All right.
No word, by the way, on whether or not this location would have more than 6 of these robots.
I mean, I guess the good thing is like it would be like really quick. What's the word? I don't know. Turnover. Like just pull out the parts, throw them in the washing machine, install a new one. Like spray her down with a garden hose. I mean, it's like cleaning a car.
I don't know if they're
piston or
that
something.
sophisticated though. That's the problem we were running into earlier.
Oh God, yeah, like that episode of Archer when
Oh god.
his Russian girlfriend, comes back. Krieger brings her back, and she leaves her lady parts in the sink. He's like, "Oh God!"
I like that the musician in you is coming out because you're thinking robots, water, no problem. Like that. That's a combination that won't be bad. Just hose the robot down. What's the worst can happen? It's just electronics.
I'm assuming they're okay with fluids, considering they're a sex doll.
Right. It's probably confined in certain areas, but maybe if you just want to like God shot that that robot, you can. Yeah, who knows?
I mean, the real question
please
is,
never let me hear you use the phrase "God shot" again, Keith.
The real question is, can
Right up
I
the
get
nose.
one of these sex robots that looks like a sheep with LED lights under the fur? Because
Would you
that's
please
what.
pet me a little lower?
Oh God, the visuals. No.
All right, Keith, what do you got for your first
I
article?
would literally pay for that just to look at it, laugh, and then just like walk away. Just to say it exists, I would pay for it.
Yeah. So many of you may have joined us during our live show, what we did at the Octobrew Fest, right? And
yes, you got that correct. Good job.
yeah, I got it. And so this was one of the ones I used for that show, but I realized that we didn't record it down, and so I wanted to spread it because I think it's just a hilarious story. Axe throwing bar deemed unsafe and has liquor license suspended for 1 day. There's,
One day, that'll fix the problem.
There's so many questions
So-
here.
True story.
Yeah.
A friend of mine works there. Hi, James.
What?
And I was when they were before they opened, when they were like hiring people and in the process and everything.
Yeah.
He asked if I wanted to work there. He was gonna get me a job, but the hours were like, it was like Friday, Saturday night. It's like the hours are typical bartender hours, which is bye personal life, bye shows, bye band. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had to turn it down. But yeah, I almost was a bartender in there. But
Now, is this in the area, the one that you're talking about? Because this one was up in
Yes.
Michigan. So apparently this is like a thing.
Oh yeah, no, they're opening like 2 different ones here in Baltimore
Yeah,
now. Like one in
they're in the
Highland
Baltimore
Town
area.
and one in Catonsville, I think.
yeah.
The fact that this is taking off is horrifying.
I mean, what could go wrong?
Yeah, because
Drunk
I saw
people
one
throwing
article. It's
axes?
like throwing an axe throwing place opening in Canada. Like, okay, that's cool. Opening in New York. I thought it was Canada. Opening in Maryland. Okay, opening in Maryland. I thought there was one. Oh no, there's a second one in Maryland. Now there's one in Michigan.
let's get drunk and throw axes in the murder capital of America.
Right. Yeah, when you said Canada, I was like, actually, I'm okay with that because they're very peaceful people. I'm sure it would go fine. And then you say Baltimore, I'm like, whoa, let's back this up. You guys aren't thinking this through. Yeah, so apparently, what I like about it is that they were like, wait, so you're going to get drunk and throw axes. And then what they banned was the alcohol, because that's the problem, not axes. This is just another example of how bad we are with like gun control, right?
Yeah, no. Hey, if people will do it, if you can make money, then sure, let's, throw axes. I wonder, is it like a shooting range where you have like lanes, or is it kind of open like at the Renaissance Fair where you just kind of throw one? Or
If I saw it, I believe it's almost like an indoor shooting range sort of setup.
Yeah.
okay, you do have kind of
But
lanes.
more wood and less bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
You get lanes. Yeah, no, you don't just get an axe with every drink and you can throw it any direction you want.
Almost like peanut shells
I
at
would
an
throw
Outback
24
Steakhouse.
axes, man. I would be so shit faced.
But yeah, they apparently now allow it to happen, I guess. I am so confused how this is a thing, but I guess we're all right now. So anyhow, so if you want to go to Michigan or any of the other places where they are, I guess you can. Is it news though?
Yes, I would put that towards the rear of the newspaper, directly, depending on where the funnies start. It would be directly above them, unless they start at the top of the page. Then it would be at the top of the opposing page, because your eyes are going to be at the top probably more than the bottom. But it's going to be like right next to the comic strips.
I would suggest putting it on the back page so that then you can put it on the wall and throw axes at it.
That's valid. Yeah, that's a valid point. Yeah.
All right, Adam, what do you have?
All right, this article actually just kind of terrifies me. A new lab-grown meat startup may have overcome a key barrier to making meat without slaughter. Yes.
What's the barrier?
So,
Murdering
from what I
cows.
remember on this, so they were basically trying to grow meat from certain kinds of cells that I can't find the name of, but
I remember reading about that a while ago.
But it was it was a very unstable process, and it wasn't very efficient. Well, now this one startup company has claimed to have overcome that barrier and can now reliably and rapidly grow lab-grown meat.
Huh.
Yep. The breakthrough that they had is they are now much better at being able to hide the murder of cows.
Yeah.
That's in the background.
Look,
in the-
guys, we totally did this. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they close the door where there's like 50 cows dead back there,
What's in that closet? Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing's in the closet. Why? What's in your closet? I like beer. Okay, that's not a big deal.
Well, this terrifies me is I can't remember the name of the movie. There was a creepy as fuck body horror movie on Netflix a few years back. There's like this like dystopian society where people were actually like pay good money to suffer the same diseases as certain celebrities. And one of the other side bits is people going into these like lab grown meat. Instead of a butcher, they would go into these stores to buy lab grown meat, but it was based on the DNA of those celebrities. Like, oh, I'm going to have a steak of Michelle Pfeiffer tonight.
Wow.
Or a rack of, I don't know, some other, I'm not good on celebrities, but
Yeah,
it's just
another Michelle Pfeiffer.
yeah, so we're kind of getting closer to that movie, and that does not make me happy because that movie was so uncomfortable.
That's such a
Wow.
fantastic like moral issue, right? Because
Yeah.
we're already thinking like, okay, if I get beef and the beef isn't killed, like that's better, right? But then what if you want pork and the pig isn't slaughtered? Well, that's better. What if I want human?
Antiviral? Was the movie Antiviral?
That's right. Yeah. Antiviral. Ugh.
I have to watch that.
Yeah, and so it seems like that would be just really really weird because technically eating a person, I guess, isn't so bad if you're not killing the person.
Yeah,
right?
it's lab grown. It's completely humane. It's safe. It's probably more sterile than actually eating a person.
Yeah.
But then you're gonna get some weird shit. Like people eat a person and they're like, "Man, that tastes good. I wonder what a real person tastes like." And then you
organic
you
free range person tastes like.
I want grass fed people.
Right.
And then Baltimore is suddenly no longer the murder capital. It's Los Angeles because they're eating people or something.
Right.
It's now the Soylent Green capital of the world.
No, I think that definitely would deserve to be news because that is something that it's a big moral conundrum for a lot of people. Even myself sometimes. Like I'm not a vegetarian or vegan. I don't know.
Yeah.
I eat meat. I like meat. I think it's healthier for you that way. But I do try to get we eat grass fed. We try to get healthy stuff where the animal doesn't have to suffer too much. So when you take the suffering out of that entirely, then you can have a healthier product that even let's say a vegan could eat. There's no cruelty in there, so they could eat that. They could finally get some vitamin B12 and good sources of iron and
not be
protein.
so weak.
Yeah, they could get a protein with a bioavailability over 90 or something. They can eat good healthy food.
Right. Think about it. You want to have sustainable stuff. Like I love sushi, but I only eat grass-fed tuna.
Oh yeah,
because it's sustainable, right? That's what's important. Free range. That's the thing now.
I don't know if you know how fish work, Keith.
Free range. Yeah, I like the
No, I want it to be humane. So that's why I do that. Organic, free range, grass fed tuna and salmon. Those are the big ones that I go for.
Have you ever seen a tuna? Have you ever seen? Sorry, a little sideline here. Have you ever seen a full size tuna fish? How big they are?
Yeah, I don't know how they fit it in the can. I'll be honest.
I know. It's like a fucking Volkswagen swimming around.
Yeah.
When I was years ago stationed in Monterey, they have this I almost said swimming pool. That's the wrong word. They had this like a fish tank indoors. They had this fish tank
Also
that's
a swimming pool.
40 feet high and 150 feet long. It's absolutely gigantic.
Yeah.
And
so just big enough for about 4 tunas.
Yeah. You see like this Volkswagen swimming by. You're like, what the fuck is that? That's a tuna?
Yeah.
Like you must be able to get like literally 1,000 cans from one tuna. They're that big.
Absolutely.
And then you'll see a shark swimming around and he like looks at the tuna and they're like, pfft. And shark just kind of swims away. He's like, I can't.
I bet you get a whole thermometer worth of mercury out of that thing.
You probably could.
Yeah. All right. So is it news? That's the question.
Yes, I think I would put that actually at the bottom of the first page, because that is something, especially if they get it at a price where it's reasonable, where it's feasible. That is something that could really change society and change our diet.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we're batting 1,000 so far. So I'll move on to the next one, and I know we're running a little behind, so I'll try and keep it short. Smash and grab thieves hit pot shop, but only got away with oregano.
Oh God, yes, I remember. I heard about that on NPR actually.
Yeah,
the other day.
When you're not good at stealing,
that is fucking hilarious. Like
this is.
I don't even smoke pot, and I can tell the difference. Like, come on, guys.
Right. I like that they thought that they just had the pot out for display. Like they never even thought like maybe this is plastic pot or oregano or something else, right? They're like
in the future, smell it and go, do I want to put this in my tacos? Yes or no?
But this is more proof as to why we should consider legalizing pot. It's not dangerous. It just makes you dumb. Right? I'm going to go into this shop. They didn't come in with weapons or anything. They were just like, we're
not even bear
in.
spray like last week.
I'm surprised they got off of their sofa and they broke in and they were like, we're stealing this stuff. We didn't think it through very well. Let's go.
They ran out of Doritos and they were walking down to the Royal Farms to buy some Doritos, and they passed by the weed shop. They're like, yo, man, I need some more.
And it's not open. I don't want to have to get up early tomorrow. Here's my theory. My theory is that they broke into the actual pot shop not to steal the pot, but to steal the oregano because they were hungry. They're like, holy shit, is that oregano? I fucking love oregano.
I'm poor, man. I eat nothing but ramen noodles and Spam. You know how that tastes? I need some oregano.
Oregano would really zhuzh that up.
I'm going to end it all if I don't get some goddamn oregano right about now.
Break this fucking window. We're taking that oregano.
I don't think I would put that in the newspaper.
Okay.
But, most places that put out, well, basically all places that put out newspapers, they have their websites. I would put that on the website, kind of, a page or two back. It's good for a laugh. It's not really important to society. It's not going to benefit really anyone learning that, but it's funny. We need a laugh sometimes.
I like that you said a page or two back on the internet.
Yeah,
like you're flipping through, not the front page, but like 3 behind it as if they're physical pages.
Well, like, at the bottom, like at the bottom
Next.
on Pornhub. I mean on the news page
CNN.
where it says, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next, you go to like page 3. Yeah.
I get that. Okay, so like page 3 of the pagination. All right, so I think we're running out of time, so let's do a speed round. Adam, can you hit him with just the highlight of the story, and we'll just try and see if we can knock these last 4 out.
I'm ready.
Strip club closed after food stamps used to buy lap dances and drugs, investigators say.
God damn. Not in the newspaper. That's going to be probably page 4 of the website.
On the website. All right.
Yeah. Local news website, one that no one actually reads.
All right. Scottish cancer patient traveling to New York accidentally checks yes on, quote, have you ever engaged in terrorist activity on U.S. visa application?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know why this question exists. Literally, here's how the question goes. It reads, and I will quote, do you seek to engage in or have you ever engaged in terrorist activities, espionage, sabotage, or genocide? Like there's anyone in the world that's going to be like, I mean, I like beer, okay? I fucking like beer. Is that a big deal? Like,
what, do you not like terrorism? I mean, I like terrorism.
Right. What, do you want to do genocide? Huh?
My family has been ruined because of this.
Like, I like that they think that somebody's going to fill this out and be like, they got me, yes. Like,
yeah, that's...
like,
we're definitely not in the newspaper. That's going to be on the website. And that new guy that's like maybe a little slow and he needs more training writing his news articles, we'll give him that story and he can, if he finishes it in time, he can get that story and maybe we'll slip it in somewhere on the website. I believe all knowledge should be out there. So it's got to be on there somewhere, but yeah, back a little bit.
all right, Adam.
Man admits to using his dead neighbor's debit card to buy $7,000 worth of pizza.
Life goals.
At once.
As long as life goals can be like the subtitle, then we got to fill in space in this newspaper. We're not full yet. I'm going to put that middle of page 3.
I like that he doesn't have a front page article yet. It's just going to be blank and then articles after it.
Well, the top, the headline story will probably be something like rapey douchebag Yale frat boy that never drank or had premarital sex is now one of the top judges in the most powerful nation in the world for life.
Armon, there is no actual physical proof of that. All we know for a fact is that he really fucking likes beer. That's what we know. He admitted to that. The rest is all just hearsay and the fact that he's really emotional about it. That's all we know, Armon. So let's not throw things out there. We're a news organization.
We're news. That's fair.
All right, last but not least, 44-day turpentines cleanse becoming new health craze.
What?
Okay,
Yeah.
I actually would not publish that because that's some dipshit's gonna read that and they're gonna put a pause on their kale juice diet and be like, let me try turpentine instead, and they're gonna die.
Yeah,
so I actually would not include that one.
You soak a sugar cube in turpentine, you take that, it's supposed to like cleanse you or kill you. One of the two. There's two.
Yeah, because you get like the fire shits for a week because your body's like trying to die. Like, oh my God, I lost so so many pounds. I lost like tens of pounds. Yeah, you
Right.
just shit out half of your lower intestine.
Right. I lost
Didn't
like
that used to be a thing that like old alcoholics would do, like run turpentine through bread or something to try to make it drinkable? They
I don't
couldn't
know.
get booze anymore.
I've heard antifreeze. Yeah, you take like a pipe like this long, pack it as hard as you can full of bread, and like pour shit in there, and like whatever comes out will be ethanol.
Nice.
I don't know if it's true, but I've heard stories.
I would.
This is not an endorsement from Another Wasted Hour, by the way, for any of y'all to try this shit.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do that. What? I like antifreeze. Okay, is that so bad? Is that a big deal? Huh? Do you like antifreeze?
Do you like antifreeze?
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
God.
you can lose apparently 5 pounds in a single day by having your kidney removed, and
Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
good.
the 1 teaspoon dosage says there could be some serious adverse effects, but as little as 3 teaspoons are fatal. So you're really you're towing the line there with the
Wow.
1 teaspoon. But yeah, it's apparently a thing that people are swearing by. So we're not publishing that. I can understand why.
Or do we want to publish that because anyone dumb enough to try it probably needs to be removed from the gene pool anyways?
That's right. You might win the midterm elections.
know?
So
We just
I'm-
got to get a lot of insurance. and
Right.
we're good.
get
A
life
lot of
insurance on
insurance.
other dumb people that you know. Can you take out life insurance on other people?
Okay, this sour beer is really growing on me.
The answer to your question, Keith, is yes. Yes, you can.
Raspberry.
Excellent. I have a
And
plan. now.
look up the amazing story of the invincible Mike Malloy, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, so there we have it. Almost, it looks like everything made it in either on the website, mythical website, or the publication. Do you have a name for your new brand? That's the next big thing you need to do.
Oh man.
You had all segment to think about it. You can do this.
I know, but I
I
was
believe
thinking
in
about
you.
other things.
You were
it's-
distracted.
The newspaper is going to be called My What a Lovely Sandwich.
That might be the best name for a newspaper we've had so far. I don't know anyone will know that it's a newspaper, but it'll be fantastic.
Well, true story. If you go on Facebook and look up My What a Lovely Sandwich, that's actually a meme page that I run.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. So
Ha ha ha.
you
And-
have gotten 2 plugs in automatically. Well, excellent. Let's throw another one in because you're also not just the administrator of a meme page on Facebook. A lot of people don't know this. You also happen to be a member of Ashes of Mankind.
That's right.
You have a show coming up Saturday, October 28th at
Sunday.
Sunday, October 28th at the Depot in Baltimore, Maryland. You also run a page on Facebook called Ashes of Mankind that has a bunch of face melting metal on it.
Yes.
So if you like memes, go to, what was it? My What a Lovely Sandwich.
My What a Lovely Sandwich.
And if you like metal, go to Ashes of Mankind up on Facebook.
Ashes of Mankind.
So you were saying that you've got a new album coming out maybe at the
Yes.
beginning of next year. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with that.
Well, like our first album is probably like a lot of first albums. It's a little bit more raw and you can tell, there's a rather cohesive sound there, but we're still trying to kind of discover ourselves sometimes. With our second album, we definitely have our sound down, which is very
Great.
much like Carcass mixed with Demolition Hammer, kind of death thrash, very, very fast sound. And then we have some songs that have that same kind of tone, but it's like we're playing something right off of Master of Puppets or And Justice for All, very like late 80s traditional thrash.
You do realize that for those people who are not familiar with metal, the names of those bands just sound like weapons you can get from Final Fantasy.
That's true. Omni Slash, also a band.
So-
So we're very, very fast,
Yeah.
and very heavy. And we focus on not just like mindless speed and heaviness, but we always try to have very catchy riffs in there. You have to have a memorable hook. I'm a firm believer that after you hear a song, if you see them live or on the radio or YouTube or whatever, 5 minutes after you've heard that song, if you can't like hum a line from it, the song's probably garbage. Like it
Fair
has to stick, you got to have these memorable hooks, these memorable riffs. And we've really been focusing on that.
Yeah.
We've got 6 songs written, just finished number 6. And we're about ready to start the preliminary drum tracking and everything. I'm really excited for it, and it's really going to be an incredible album. The first one was a really solid album. We got a lot of praise for it. Stosh from the guy that runs our record label was telling me at this last Maryland Death Fest that people were just buying copies of our album like hotcakes, which was very flattering. He said that one like sold faster than anything else. That was his top
Very
selling
nice.
album.
Yeah.
That was.
Well,
that's
a
very flattered by
fantastic
that.
segue into. We actually have a track from that album.
Hey yo.
Yeah, you brought us a Scene in Hell, which is the title track from your first album.
Yes, it is.
Is there anything you want to say before we kind of listen to a sample of that?
Yeah. Actually, I'm kind of for those that know me, I write a lot of music. I have 15 solo projects. I've slowed down a little bit lately, but I write just a ton of music. And so when I started this band, I kind of immediately like boom wrote 4 songs. And Alex, our bass player, came up with these riffs. He's like, "Hey, let me show you these riffs that I wrote." And it was the first half of the song, half of that was written by him. Like he wrote a lot of like the intro riff, the very first thing, he wrote all of that. Like Alex really came up with these amazing riffs. And that was his first time.
Nice.
We had just been a band for a handful of months, and he came forward with that. And we were like, hell yeah. So Alex is like our secret weapon, kind of, sort of,
Cool. Well, if people want to hear the entire track, they can fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this show. But in the meantime, let's take a little listen to the track. Adam, how about you fire up about 30 seconds or so of this, and we'll sit back and listen to A Scene in Hell from Ashes of Mankind. I can't talk anymore. My face is melting. Adam, jump in here. You're the metal guy of this show. What do you think? What is your take on this?
So, I will admit that I am not the biggest death thrash guy in the world.
Sure.
My first loves in metal were always like the symphonic, operatic, kind of epic, melodic stuff. But I don't know, 2 years ago, whatever, you handed me the EP that y'all put out and told me, hey, take a listen to this. And I pretty much listened to Ashes of Mankind for about 2 weeks straight after that, just off that EP.
Thank you.
So, from a non-thrash metalhead, this is the kind of thrash that I do like to listen to.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
we try to keep the energy high,
Yeah, and that's what it is.
They got the energy, and it's not, my biggest problem with a lot of thrash, because, I've been to a lot of shows where I have to sit through a thrash band as the opening band, and it's usually, I don't know, very repetitive to me.
Mhm.
And it's just like, okay, it's just noise the whole time, but I do like you guys do have a lot of groove and a lot of energy and just a lot of movement to your
tracks.
tracks.
Keep them catchy riffs,
Mhm.
like, and they're not my drummer Ashton and my bassist Alex. They're okay. We have a very open forum. If I bring some riffs, I'm like, hey, I wrote this song. We'll jam it, and they'll be like, yo, that first riff is not good. We need to replace it. I'm like, okay, hey, good. That's what I want.
The same thing in Second Guard, except we just throw things at Daniel when that happens.
Well, you should just throw things at Daniel anyways.
Pretty much.
A tire, maybe a weight or something.
Well, speaking of throwing things at you, we are running low on time, so we want to try and blow through our next segment. I don't have my tablet with me. It went camping, and it's in my backpack at work and stuff. So this is about the time that Adam would play his favorite stinger for Please God, Just Get One Right, our game show that we invented.
I'm ready.
So our previous guest, which is Emma G, she actually almost became a mechanic. And so she set us up with a category that you might have some trickiness with. Some people, I feel like, have more likelihood and less likelihood. I think this is going to be a hard one for you. Are you ready for your category?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
It is V8, rotaries, and spoons, which are types of engines. How do you feel?
I feel good.
Okay, good.
Not familiar with spoons, but I'm good.
Yeah. Good news, if you don't get any right, no big deal. You can take that frustration and embarrassment, ball it up into a brand new category that you send to our next guest to see if you can cause them to fail as well. So So let's
Next
get
category is why is Emma an asshole?
right. So so let's get started without further ado. First question: what engine type developed in 1951? NSU Motorwerk AG in Germany was invoked in a Monty Python skit about embarrassment.
Wow, that's very specific.
Yeah.
We don't make these easy.
What engine type developed in 1951? The NSO at the NSO Motorwerken AG in Germany was invoked in a Monty Python skit about embarrassment. What would be the most embarrassing of all the engines?
I mean, based on the year, I'm going to guess maybe a Wankel rotary.
Nailed it. That's it.
Holy shit. Woo.
You got it. Right off the bat, you got one. Nicely done. The
They'll rev to,
Wankel
like-
rotary engine. Yeah.
And they rev to like 20,000 RPMs, and you can turbocharge the shit out of them, but they have no torque whatsoever, so they're kind of an embarrassment.
Yeah, but they're also called Wankels. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's pretty easy to make fun of. All right, Adam, we've already got it out of the way. We can stop the bit altogether. We don't need to go on, but let's see how more we can do.
All
Okay.
right. Let's see if you can spot just how much I know about engines and how much I had to copy and paste from Wikipedia. A V8 engine in its most basic configuration is basically two parallel inline-4 engines sharing a common crankshaft, has the same secondary dynamic and balance problems as two straight 4s, resulting in vibrations in large engine displacements. What technological advance allows the V8 engine to operate without the excessive vibration?
A harmonic dampener. There are some engines that use a separate balance shaft also.
The answer we're looking for was a cross-plane crankshaft,
Oh, so close.
which may be a different word for what you said, because I honestly don't know.
No.
I would actually contest that.
Oh,
Yeah, because there's two different styles of crankshaft. There's
Yeah.
the cross plane, and then there's a flat plane.
mhm.
If you're building a race car and you don't care if it vibrates some, you just want maximum revs and power, you're going to use a flat plane. If you want it to be a little smoother, you're going to use a cross plane. It's still going to vibrate. So what you do to counter all that vibration is you use a harmonic balancer, which is this big, heavy weight that's
Yeah.
literally like bolted to the crankshaft with a thick piece of like rubber and then another weight. So it just, if it vibrates, it just absorbs all the vibration.
Well,
you
let's-
need to be a mod on Wikipedia to fix the article then that I just copied and pasted my whole
Yeah.
question from.
I know a lot about engines.
Well, let's talk to the judges real quick. I want to check with them. They say, yeah, they don't care. You're wrong. So they are not nice. They are terrible people.
Next category is going to be harmonic balancers.
All right, let me see how well I can actually pronounce these things. The Aleopile is described by Vitruvius as a hollow brazen vessel which has an opening or mouth of small size by means which it can be filled with water prior to the water being heated over the fire, but little wind is emitted. As soon, however, as water begins to boil, a violent wind ensues forth. By what more common name is this engine called?
Steam engine.
Oh, no, it is not.
Sounds like a steam engine.
It does sound like it.
Hmm.
The Heroes engine.
The fuck is that?
Yeah, that's right.
That's not real.
It's not, we're going to check with the judges. They said to fuck off. So
Judges are commies. They don't even drive V8s.
the judges say they like beer. Do you like beer?
I mean, I like beer. Do you like beer?
Are we
Okay,
looking up a
she showed
picture?
me pictures of it. Oh, shit.
You have an assistant, which I think is just fantastic. She's been showing you things on the internet the entire show and completely silent. She's like a mime search engine. And so, all right, this is great. So,
Not a
Adam,
very
what do you
fast
have?
engine.
All right, this rotary engine was the last to be adopted by the RAF, incorporating it into their post-World War I single-seat fighter, the Sopwith Snipe, and its ground attack variant, the Sopwith Salamander. It was also the largest and most powerful rotary engine to date, but was also the last one to be used because it had reached the limits of what this type of engine could be developed.
So this would be a British engine, right? Because Royal
yeah,
Air Force, RAF, right?
Yeah, it was the last one
Yeah.
that they incorporated post-World
That's
War I.
very specific there. I couldn't tell you.
The answer is the Bentley BR2.
You know how big it is? Does it say? Like how many liters?
I'd have to look it up
anything?
again, but it was huge. It's like
Yeah.
it was about the size of a bomber now.
I believe
geez.
it's twice the size of a BR1, I believe.
That makes sense.
All right. I have one last question for you.
I got it.
Ali
shit.
Webb,
Here's a picture of it. Yeah, that's
The
he's
Heroes
just
engine.
looking at pictures.
rotary aircraft engine. Oh yeah.
I was
Oh
bored
yeah,
of
those things are ridiculous.
I was bored of engines, so I went a little different with this question.
All right.
So Ali Webb is the oldest known web search engine, but it is no longer active. What is the oldest still active search engine? Yeah, I know.
It's definitely not Google.
The longest
Google,
running.
Yeah. Google's been around for a while, but let's see. Yahoo was around before Google.
hmm
Oh God, who did I use before then? I mean, I first got my first computer. My parents got one in 1996, I think.
Yeah.
Oh God, did I even Google search anything?
I remember
used-
Alta Vista. That was one. And
yeah.
what was it? Jeeves? Or that was
Ask Jeeves.
Ask.com.
Ask Jeeves.
Ask
yeah.
Jeeves.
Around
yeah.
that time, I was the search engine I used was get the fuck off the computer. Dad needs to use the phone.
Oh, I remember those days. Yeah. Yeah, I'm stumped on that one.
Well, good. What are you gonna go with?
I mean,
She's
Yahoo
looking
is
it
the
up.
longest running.
She's cheating.
not.
She's looking it up. I can see it.
She's on an empty Google page. Using a search engine to search for search engines. The longest consecutive running or the oldest that is still, well, I guess that's the same thing. Duh. I don't know.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, I guess one
Maybe-
could have lasted a long time and then died, but yeah,
AOL.
the oldest one that is still running.
Yahoo's the oldest one I can think of. Maybe AOL, but I'm sure it's something other than that.
Okay. What are you going with?
The Internet Archive. I don't know.
You have to pick something. You can't just say, I don't know.
AOL.
AOL. No, you almost had it. It was Yahoo.
It was Yahoo?
Yeah. Yahoo is the
Oh.
oldest long running search engine that is still active.
Oh, hold on.
What?
Web crawler.
Web crawlers
You're older.
web crawler isn't really a search engine though, isn't it? It's a directory.
Well, that's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
no,
last
never
but
mind.
not least, before we move on to the
All
last
right.
segment,
You
what is
still
the
didn't get it
nickname-
right.
What is the nickname for car owners who have modded their Hondas to incorporate a spoon engine?
So
Hint,
I'm
it is
assuming
kind of
Spoon
racist.
Is the company named Spoon that modifies usually Japan domestic market engines that they import after 30,000 miles due to their emissions over there, and they just ditch their engines and they bring them into U.S. domestic market engines. I'm assuming instead of being called, as a lot of the Honda drivers are called, unfortunately, ricers.
Mhm.
I'm guessing they have a different name involving the word spoon. Like they're called spoons or
no.
spoonheads or something. Or
No,
they
it's actually pretty close to something you already said.
just spooners.
Nope, the
Right.
answer we're looking for is Rice Boy.
Rice boy?
Yeah.
I've never heard that. I've heard ricer a lot. I've never heard rice boy.
Yeah, Rice
they,
Boy.
like they actually took something like ricer and made it worse. you
Yeah.
know, like jeez.
So you started really strong. You got one right, which was really the goal
Yeah.
anyway. So congratulations.
I
You
got
did-
it. I'm the champion.
Yeah, you got one right. So now we
Did
need
better
one,
than I did.
one more thing from you. We
Okay.
need the category for our next guest. What are you going to shackle to them for their attempt at one correct answer?
The physics of sound.
The physics of sound.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
That's
Physics
actually
of sound next week.
because when I was the guest, I tried to go with acoustics, and he changed all the questions to be about acoustic guitars. So thank you for making it just a little bit more specific than I did.
I'll still find ways to fuck it up. All right. Well, thank you for participating in Please God Just Get One Right. You did. So congratulations. You can brag to all of your friends.
I'm a winner. I'm a winner.
Yeah. So last but not
Did you
least,
hear that, Mama?
we're
Did you
going to
hear that,
move
Mama? I'm a
on
winner.
to near and far, our
and
last interview section here. Once again, we're talking to Armon from Ashes of Mankind. They're playing Sunday, October 28th at the Depot in Baltimore, Maryland. You can go up to facebook.com/Ashes of Mankind to find out more about that show. And also one you said in November as well down in North Carolina.
Yes.
Is that right?
November 17th at the Milestone in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yep. And then there's also a new album coming out, which hopefully will be out next year.
Yes.
That will be up at the facebook.com Ashes of Mankind site as well. Don't forget, you can listen to the entire track from their title track from their first album, A Scene in Hell, at the end of this show as well. So without further ado, let's start. Do you want to do near or far first? Do you have any preference?
Well, I know we're a little short on time. I can kind of skip over the near because I don't have any really like exciting recent near stories other than we're recording our album.
All right, well, let's start with
but the
far, and
far
we'll
one-
come back around to near if we
the
have
far
time.
is-
So
the far is good. So we just
far, you said I've got Mustang with a trailer, which is just
Yes.
a fantastic title for a story.
So after playing within, a 2-hour radius for about 2 years, we finally did our first little tour.
Nice.
Where'd
you head?
It was in total it was a little over a week long. We played here, we played Philly, we played DC, we played a bunch of places, and then the last little stretch was this 3-day stretch.
Yeah.
Where we drove in. I have a Mustang, and 3 of us crammed in there with a U-Haul trailer.
Wow.
And yeah,
I've never
could
seen
put
a
a tow hitch
Mustang
on a
with a
Mustang.
trailer.
yeah, you can buy trailer hitches for them, and they're a pain in the ass to put on, and it tows it actually just fine.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean it's got power for days, so.
Oh, that's crazy. Have you thought
Yeah.
about maybe putting a cross-plane crankshaft on that thing?
I already have one actually. Yes. However, the new Mustang GT350 has a flat plane crankshaft.
Nobody uses those anymore. You need
Unless
those.
you're racing a car.
Then you need
No,
one of
but,
those dampeners. Nobody likes that.
But we drove from Baltimore. The first day we drove to Virginia Beach, and we played at the Riff House. Thank you, Michael Tepper, for booking that one kind of last minute. It was the whole little last bit of the tour was kind of like someone was setting up, and then they kind of dropped out, and we were like, we got to book all this ourselves at the last minute kind of thing.
Right.
It was only a couple dates, but it was still we were scrambling to get it done, so we didn't have a hole in the middle. So we did that. That show went really well, and then I think the highlight was the next day, Friday, in at the Milestone, Charlotte, North Carolina. Very like old punk place. I think 1968 is when
And
they
that's
started.
where you're going back to, right? So
Yes,
it went
yeah,
that
we
well that
loved
you're going back.
place. Yes. The crowd absolutely loved us. We played a really good set, and we loved it there. It has this very old school punk vibe, kind of
Okay.
like the Sidebar here in Baltimore, but just a lot bigger. And you've got all these amazing bands that have
To
played
be
there
fair,
in the
though,
past.
some bathroom stalls are bigger than the sidebar here in
That's
Bath-
true.
Baltimore.
Is it like a CBGB's kind of feel? Like, did you ever get to go there when it was open?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's I know like the Bad Brains, they played there, and they didn't have any stickers, so they spray painted their band name on the wall. That's still there.
That's
Like all
awesome.
these famous old punk bands have their logos literally spray painted on the wall and stuff. So
That's great.
it was really kind of from a certain point of view kind of an honor to play there.
Yeah.
And we love it. And my buddy Tommy books there, and he's bringing us back on November 17th for like a festival that he does. So we're super excited for that.
That's amazing.
And then the bad part of the tour was after that. So that was Friday, and then we woke up early in the morning,
and then got into a
we-
Mustang and killed each other because you were in a Mustang together for an entire week.
And we drove from Charlotte down to Tampa, Florida. That
Oh.
was a drive. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Our knees were sore when we got out. So we did that. And the second you open the door, it's just like humidity, humidity and mosquitoes. I grew up in Florida, but like I hadn't really been back in a bit. And oh man, that humidity, especially in August.
Yeah.
So we get down there and we play, and the Florida crowd was different than any place I've ever been. In Baltimore, a brand new band comes on stage and the crowd is right there. They're tapping their feet. They're like, yeah, you might even get a little mosh pit or whatever. And people afterwards
Yeah,
are like,
absolutely.
hey, you did a great job. So we go to Tampa, the first band, they're locals, they play, and people are right up by the stage. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, they're rocking it.
Excuse me. Then the 3 bands that toured, us, Murder Method, and Bound by the Grave, we all played, and for all three of us, like we start playing, and the crowd is like 30 feet back,
Oh,
like at the bar,
man.
just like staring at us. And I'm
Oh,
just
that's
like,
the worst.
come closer.
We're
And then
not
finally,
poison.
like, it was the same thing for like all three of us. Like halfway through the set, finally people start coming up to the front, and they're like, "Oh!"
Oh,
and
man.
then at the end of the night, though, they told us that we were the best band.
Oh, great. Cool,
And
you
then
got
the
it.
promoter, and then the promoter was like, "Hey, I don't have any money. You don't get paid."
Ah, well, we've run out of time. We
All
also
right.
cannot pay you. I'm very sorry.
Damn it.
Once again, Ashes of Mankind playing Sunday, October 28th at the Depot in Baltimore, Maryland. Check them out at facebook.com/Ashes of Mankind. Their new album coming out next year.
Butts.
Please like our posts, follow us, retweet us, share the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We cannot do this without you. Don't forget to review us on Facebook, iTunes, and Google Play. If you're an artist, musician, or culture creator in the DC area and you want to be on the show, email us at booking@anotherwastedhour.com. Thanks to my summer co-hosts, engineer Adam, to Kevin Eminger, McNally22, Justin Rogers, Big Metal Records, Big Metal Studios, and Alchemical Records for all their contributions. Most of all, thanks for Ashes of Mankind for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been another wasted hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for letting me waste your hour.
Satan laughs from his breath.